us, the original honeymooners. I don't know. I have a question for my Spanish-speaking individuals. I've been listening to a lot of Spanish rap because since the Drywallers came in and did my home. I was like, hey, this is pretty catchy. I've been listening to it. I figured it's great stuff. It's great beat, but why do they always bring in a dude to sing that sounds like he's like 2.5 feet tall? Este no da bueno. Like it's like it's cool, and then like right in the middle to break up the verses, they bring in this some dude. It's like it sounds like he's like an Oompa Loompa. Like why? Every one of them, every song. Yesterday I found a new song I liked, and like halfway through, these guys start singing. I start cracking up. I'm like every single one of them. Anyway, to piss Americans off. It's good stuff. I like it. I like it. Anyway, 15-minute here. Do I have the YouTube up? Yeah, there we go. That's my issue too, though. It sounds so mean, and then bam, high-pitched male voice. Yeah. Yeah. What's up, Ethan? Good morning. They were playing corritos. I didn't on my toes. I don't intend to play very much between now and whatchamacallit, FOMC. I have a theory that the word corazon is in every Latin song. What does that word mean? Why did the door just open? I gave my thesis in the stream analysis tab yesterday. Which means that nothing has changed. The daily chart is still exactly the same. And I put a note in there is that I don't want you all to constantly change your bias and theme when nothing material has changed on the chart. Show me on the chart where the buyers are starting to destroy the sellers. Go to the daily, go to the 4-hour, go to the 60-minute. And although, yes, we put on a nice little 2-day run there, but the sellers have whopped down everything. We've had no real volume. There's no signs of the buyers truly hitting the tape yet. Now, today could be that day. But go look on SPY. SPY 2 days ago nearly put on Christmas Eve volume, which is awful. It's terrible. Which is why, in my opinion, we're going to at least test the low, if not put in a new low, until otherwise stated. My theory is down until otherwise noted. And that if we were to clear the support resistance test, which we almost did yesterday and before the sell-off there, then I will look for higher prices, swing high, and all that kind of stuff. So that's the way for me to clean out bias. That's the way for me to kind of keep things on the right side of the tape, is that despite the 5-minute, 15-minute single-day action, I zoom out to the daily every single day, which I highly recommend you all do, and kind of re-engage with the charts, re-engage with the volume to see what's going on. What changes day after day? Are things starting to shift one way or the other? In my opinion, yes, no trading until 2 o'clock. Now, there have been a few instances where we do put on a pretty decent trend up until FOMC, but normally we go flat and just whipsaw everybody until the 2 o'clock range. Some people exploit that. They'll play bigger position sizes to play the little bounces and rejections off the small micro range, but you just got to be careful you don't get caught up in the trend if we do that. Like right now, exactly. Yeah, I know what's his name used to do that before he bounced and never came back. What was his name? Agnostic. What's up, YouTube? Never realized that, now you mention it. Yeah. My thesis aligns with the great philosopher Clubber Lang. Pain. Oh, yeah. Rocky 3, baby. Rocky 3. You ever go back and watch the Rocky movies with like modern day eyes? On one hand, if you look at the punches, they didn't even come within 2 feet of the dude. It's kind of ridiculous. And 2, Rocky was like 5'7", 140 pounds, fighting dudes that were 6'3", heavyweights. It's pretty interesting. Hogan versus Rocky, yeah. We should have at least 3 green, 3 days of green. That third day, red makes me otherwise. Yeah, buddy. However, when they do bounce the market, Usually, it happens in the form of a double tap. We bounce, we sell back off, we bounce again. I saw some people in here calling it a W. Yeah, sure. Put whatever shape you want on it, but a double bounce is usually how they bounce the market. It doesn't always have to retrace all the way back down, just somewhere in that degree. However, we've already had 3 rejections. So that would be like a W with an extra V. Why don't we call it double V instead of W? Stupid English. So we rejected on March 12th. All the way back down. We popped green on March 12th, rejected it. We popped green on March 14th, rejected it. Today is the green again. The Germans. I've been saying that for years. I'm gonna file a petition to change it to double V. Yes, and they're still awesome. Love it. How do you personally find SPY levels to sell weekly options? I haven't sold weekly options in a hot minute, just because I just got tired of doing it. But I plot those around my macro levels and the volume profile. What's the most likely outcome if we trend one way or the other, given a rejection or support? That's where I'll place my outlier levels for credit spreads and debit spreads. An old font, it looks like a U. Okay, all right. Before the U was a letter, V made a U sound. Interesting. Go read the Geneva Bible. You see why it's a W. The U used to be used for V and V for the U. Oh, okay. Why do we drive on the parkway and park on the driveway? Those movies are very much a staple of their time, even the one in 2010. I never saw the one in 2010. Let's see. Well, we just had a nice little pop on NASDAQ and big rejection back down, about 100 points. Again, I do not have my brokerage open, although I do have my prop firm open while I still have it. I did take a loss yesterday, which irked me a little bit, but it is what it is. I took a nice little trade in the morning for some very small profits, and then the decay eroded the rest of my positions. No bueno. Eroding. What's that Jim Carrey movie where he says eroded? All right. 5686. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. And here you go. Just removing some people out of the Discord. Apparently, I've got some scammers who are once again using my logo. Yeah, sure, ST. Definitely. It's part of it, man. Part of it. There's nothing wrong with losses, man. There is something wrong with blowing your account. You should never be doing that, but there's nothing wrong with losses. Part of it. Part of it. Bruce Almighty? There you go. That's it. Yeah. Rocky Balboa in 2010 is probably the first popular red pill movie. I had the famous speech to his son about that's how winning is done. Interesting. 30 points on NQ. I think I'm happy with that time to paper trade. Nice Iron Will. That'll work, buddy. That'll work. Fine to be wrong. It's not okay to stay wrong. There you go. Actually very much like the FOMC day. Yeah, so this FOMC day is crazy, man. I've got I've got a lot going on, so I'm having I'm gonna sign off here. I gotta go run, take care of something. I'm gonna come back, then we're gonna jump back on. I mean, I'm busier than a cucumber at a women's prison. So there's a lot going on here. So we're gonna come back on at about 2 o'clock, and we're gonna do FOMC, and then we're gonna stream for the rest of the day until the market close. So. Y'all crazy. When do you think today there'll be the add 0 DTs to the Mag 7 names? Probably within 24 months, if I had to guess. In 24 months. Trump will meet Zelensky in the next half hour. That's correct. Yep. So he met with Putin yesterday. He'll meet Zelensky today. Kermit the Frog. Good Dan. Hey, Dan's been MIA the past couple of days. A little bit of red. ES. What are we doing? What are we doing? Back and forth, baby. $58.63. When do you think we'll get over pre-market high? We already did. Right there. And they just hammered it back down. Now closing over it, I don't know. So, like I said, I'm not really looking to do too much until FOMC. These days are hit or miss. Yesterday was an account blower. If you weren't very careful, and we've been flat. The problem with yesterday. It's not if the VIX was 14, yesterday wouldn't have been a big deal. But with the VIX being 22, 23, and having a tight range like that, it catches people off guard. You got to be very careful, and you got to know when to play your hand and when to fold them. And yesterday was one of those days. Huge red. NASDAQ coming down. What's up, Luke Slowwalker? How you doing, buddy? 19723. My overall macro thesis is still down. I do think we're going to at least test the lows, if not put in new lows. But like I said, there was plenty of time. Plenty of time. We've been range bound now for 9 days. Could be an iron condor. Yeah, buddy. $56.77. Yeah, don't ever respond to any DMs in Discord about anything other. If there's something like that's obviously about your Discord account or something, maybe, but I will never proactively solicit any products or any messages to you. So don't ever respond to that stuff. I'm looking for the positioning right now in the market. We have got 1 day implied move is 56.70, lower move is 5600, which is pretty much the standard. We have aggressive put buying right now. Of course, we have this little move down. We're going to hit the pivot of 705, and then pre-market low is about 662. Nice little move lower. Book map. We had a bunch of liquidity, but a little bit lower. They ate that up. ES now has March contracts at 56.35. Very, very light liquidity, though. The big stuff is on June contracts. I'm pretty much ready to go ahead and delete March off the book map because all the liquidity is there, 57.12. I'll talk to all of them. I go severely off topic or ask some philosophical questions. Nice. Keep telling me that, but then on the other hand, offer me $1 million in Bitcoin. Decisions. Rivian and Sophie on my list today. Nice. A little bit of bottom wick. NASDAQ. 5681. Here's the retest of 744. We don't have any more data today up until FOMC, with exception to crude oil. So if you're a CL trader, today may be a good day to take a look at CL. Up until, if you want to trade something, go trade oil to kind of scratch that itch until FOMC. ES just completely engulfed that red candle. So this isn't the infomercial for a year supply of Gabagoo. What was what, McGurky? There you go. That's the way to do it. You got to troll them. You got to troll them. Green back up, 787. Back and forth. Let's go to the longer time frame here. So the imbalance from Tuesday morning's rundown is about 709, which is about 19 points higher here. So in the event they do kind of trickle this thing up here, that'll be a good place to kind of hang out for the rest of the day. Otherwise, we do have a trend line. If you're plotting trend lines, we've got one. The S&P trend line is about 5703 would be the crossing if things went higher. I forgot I was on the 1 minute and had that huge volume spike. I've done that before. But go back and look, cage your expectations. We are back and forth. Yesterday's 15-minute candle looks absolutely atrocious. And of course, we're still in the same exact range we've been in since March 10th. Do we get out of that range today? Probably. I'd probably say we at least touch one side of the range. Another 0.025% for the day with very little risk. Good news from the doctor. Wife is coming home. Beautiful, Damien. Love to hear it, man. Love to hear it. All right. NASDAQ is not quite getting over the highs ES is. If looking across, everything is green. And that's kind of been back and forth. We had a green Monday, we had a red Tuesday, and today's all green, back and forth. RTY is green, Dow's green. VIX is slightly red, still holding over 20. And the fact that the market still wants to carry a 20 handle, again, tells me that we're not done. The volatility is still there. That we all should shut down and come back at 2. Probably need money for Legos. My brain is so used to the high vol mornings that I don't know what to do with this anymore. Yep. SPY bounced off L2. Right on it. Go look at the volume on the daily SPY. It's ridiculously low. It's terrible. Terrible. Monday's volume was atrocious. Still going. The good news is the HVAC guy agreed to replace the concrete. 3,500 smackaroos to replace the pad. So at least I got that going for me. When vol's decreasing, except yesterday, I think, that means sell-off, we are seller exhausted. It could, ST, but we still don't want to look for the bounce until the buyers engage. Because what's the whole idea of trying to catch a bounce? If the market is selling, we need to find the point at which buyers hit demand. where hit all that big old fat juicy demand, that's going to say, all right, this is the price we want to pay, boom, hit. And that usually presents itself in some sort of increase in volume. It could be extremely high volume, it could be moderately high, but some sort of increase in volume. And that's what we call stopping volume and or buying climax. The market drops, it consolidates, gets everyone nice and easy, they pummel it all the way down, hammer the crap out of it, volume spike, that's the buying climax, time to go higher. So yeah, this could mean selling exhaustion, but that's only one side of the equation. If it bounces before we get a super high volume spike, if that's the case, we'll play the green the upside, and then we'll anticipate another round over to retest. Remember, it's all a derivative of confidence. Volume is a indication of confidence. You're welcome, ST student. Going green here. Coming back up. Beautiful. Beautiful. NASDAQ is not as green as ES. Tesla is nice little bounce, but they're giving back their morning bounce so far. All green tech stocks. Apple is rocket ships. Massive green. They have an imbalance at 216.82 for Apple. Trying to track a couple of different names here. Gold is exploding over 3,000. And now holding 30.40. Interesting that precious metals are still rocket ships. The dollar is still rocket ships, all things considered. Gold is, the dollar is flying again, and the dollar is trying to recapture the highs from last year. Attempting to, at least. Apple cured cancer. What's up, NTG? How you doing, buddy? 5,700. We're right up against the trend line right here. Blasting. Blasting. Squeeze-a-roni. Do you think gold still goes up more if the stock market enters a big downturn? Well, when the whole flight to safety trade comes into play, there's going to be a lot of rotation into the safety names. Precious metals could be one of those, and of course TLT, which is obviously the one that I'm choosing. I sold my Apple calls from yesterday way too early. Nice little red. One second, I have to mute. I'll be right back. All right. How many buys on TLT so far? Dose. Let's see. Still going. Recapturing 5703. We've got a 30-point move on ES climbing. Decent little trend. So they're picking the trend version so far. We have liquidity up here at 5712. That's the main liquidity, which is another 10 points higher. Still going. ES is quickly buying up the red candle from yesterday. Should I sell my call since we have FOMC, or do you think it's worth the risk? I'm up 55%. That's up to you, man. Typically, we don't. Going into the event, there's always some sort of shakeout. So I wouldn't hold them into the event, definitely. Just put on the trade. Keep things going. Set at your stops. And let's see how things go. Whenever we do have these type of trends, like I said, going into the FOMC event, there is a shakeout. So just do your thing. Definitely don't hold him, though, into the event. What's up, Dan? There he is. What's Hero looking like? Hero looking like right now. Call buying, put buying. Both sides of the tape are buying right now. You're welcome. That filled the fair value gap, yeah. I'm surprised not 2 billion in puts. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So we are right up against the trend line that we posted. 57 was at 57.04. So holding it, and then of course the last thing left is the imbalance from Tuesday. Still going. Nice little green move. What's up? What's up? How you doing? You're very welcome. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. Today's FOMC day, so we'll be a lot of craziness going on this afternoon. I stare at y'all like that through the screen. You just can't see it yet until we have the OM studios built here in a couple weeks. Still going green. That's a 130-point move on NASDAQ. That is a 40-point move on ES. The VIX is plummeting right now as they're getting some nice, cheap puts. Calls exploding. How often do you use market orders to make sure you don't miss a fill? I don't want to say never, but almost never. Almost never. I need to be very confident in a position for me to take a market order, and even then, normally I'm pre-planned enough where I don't have to. I can, I'll change up limit orders and stuff like that and shift limit orders, but market orders are rare. It's just the fills on them are so freaking terrible. Normally, when the problem is, especially if you're scalping, if you do a market order, you're going to get the worst fill on that candle. So you're already going to be in the hole when you take the trade. So you need to be dang sure on your thesis, and you can't really scalp 15 seconds doing market orders because you're going to get like the top of if you're shorting, you're going to get the bottom of the candle. If you're buying, you're going to get the top of the candle. It's just hard. It's still going green, baby. 57.12 appears to be the target for ES. On NASDAQ, they have a ladder down below on 850 after a whole bunch of green. A54, A56, exploding higher. Still going, no selling. We're now through the top of the hour, and there's no rejection or anything, so continue to play here until we get some sort of sweep, and just roll your stops, all that type of thing. Exploding. 960, 860. ES is 5705, probably going to 5712 or so. NASDAQ is beginning to build structure down here, but you have to wait for the sweep. Right now, there's no clear indication of where this thing is going to sweep. It's just blasting, blasting, blasting. We're now going on about 30 minutes or so of just straight up action here. As the VIX continues to roll off, liquidity continues to go higher. They're wiping all major supports to the upside here. So they're picking the trend option going into FOMC. At least for now. NASDAQ is going, ES is going, there we go, 870. Most likely this little bar here. Next 5-minute algorithm so far is on the deck. Started out red, but already bottom wicking back to green for both ES and NASDAQ. And if it takes out the next high, I would say that will ensure the imbalance fill for either one of them. But just tight. Call buying, we have about 1 billion of calls, and they're starting to trickle into puts, but they have calls too. $860. Bottom wick back up, and this should do it. Straight up. VIX still dropping. Yeah, so this is a complete tailwind event. They are killing the VIX. Killing the VIX, and they're going to fly this market 2, 3, 4, 5, 800 points into FOMC. So, I mean, they're going. They're going. I'm just kidding, not that much. But they are tailwinding the market. So that's what they're doing here. That's what they're doing here. Still going. No 10 a.m. reversal. No, just blasting. Very rare FOMC, pre-FOMC new events here, which this whole week's been a little wonky. So just flying, man. Absolutely flying. Massive green. 50 points on the ES. And there is the imbalance fill right there. There's the imbalance fill. Blasting. 200 points on NASDAQ, 50 points on ES, straight up trend action pre-FOMC. Very weird. This makes me think we're going to have a colossal dump after the event when they do stuff like this. They're rolling the VIX. NASDAQ into 900. Still going. No top wick. ES, both of them. Right into 900. Love the commentary and price action, your analysis on why stuff moves. So insightful, helps me develop. Nice, KOKX. Almost did it again. Yeah, welcome. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for hanging out. Nice sweeping top wick off 900 and the imbalance perfectly to the top tick imbalance. Fantastic. Off of that level. Why is ES 5714 significant? For some reason, I put a price alert. That is the imbalance perfectly from yesterday morning. So the market came up, filled the imbalance, which is like a suction of sorts, suck zone, and then top wick. $57.13, massive green, blasting through it. Still going. Still going. Crazy pre-FOMC action. 1.6 billion in calls. Just launching. Launching. Blasting. 19,900. I'm taking all the credit for that NQ idea. They played the overnight thesis instead in the morning instead. Pull back over 700, long over 720. Yep, they bounced off of that high volume node there at 700, man. Well done. Well done. That was the POC, too, for the 15. Launched it. NASDAQ and ES both have to the tick filled the imbalance from yesterday. To the tick. This POCs, they don't mess around. It's if you could call it an indicator, which I don't think it is an indicator, although it is, but it isn't. The number one indicator. It's fantastic. If there was one thing I could tell you all to add to your charts that'll, in and of itself, change your game, volume profile. Period. End of story. This is not normal for FOMC. I smell a rat. 100%, bruh. 100%. Nice rejection off of the imbalance. In your opinion, the move out of accumulation, especially on NASDAQ volatility, do you usually like to get in before the breakout? if I see the signs of confidence, I'll get in as early as I can. That's the goal, right? As traders, is to get into the move as early as you can. Sometimes it's high confidence, sometimes it's low confidence, but we play it as it comes. They are they're going to bottom like this and go even higher. This is crazy. This is crazy. Let's see. Hero is still buying calls. If they take out the imbalance, the only solution I have left to go off of is about 980. But they've got to be able to clear this right here. There we go. There's a little top wick. So, interesting action. Very interesting. If they continue to do crazy bullishness in FOMC, I would put a high likelihood that they're going to dump a Roni. A little reversal Roni into FOMC. It may take them a little bit, but they'll do it. Which is good. Opportunity. Opportunity. Can't even sell off more than a couple points. ES is 57.09 after rejecting. They're still coming off nicely. Nicely. I wonder if we get to move the same day or tomorrow. It can be either one. It could be either one. It could be this afternoon or it could be tomorrow morning. But they will undo it if they continue to go trend here. Thursday's my 8-ball guess. Yeah. ES, nice rejection off of this level. Coming off. Beautiful. What's up? Oh my glob. Ready to lose your shirt. Base off the hour for SPY, the 8 and 21 EMA crossing, waiting for this eventual squeeze up to 63%. Nice. R2 is 567. Beautiful. Y'all have to remember, we still have a 20 handle VIX. We still have a 20 handle VIX, despite the price action the past 2 days. And they're going to do something with that. Either we are going to freaking fly, and this is in fact the bottom, or we're going to plummet down to new lows and smoke everybody. But we're going to have volatility. In a few minutes, we will have to switch over to Bookmap for an hour. What's the level for SPY to clear to go up? The imbalance. 57.14. That's the imbalance from Tuesday. They take that out, they'll probably start attacking. We have a micro level at 57.25, and then we have the bigger level at 57.35. So they're coming up here. If you go back and look, the support resistance flip for the entire week is about 57.30 and change. We did break it on Monday, but they immediately hammered it back under it. So this whole range here, I would say give it a 10-point range between 57.30 and 40. That's the range that the S&P needs to clear, not just for now, but for FOMC. I would put a range there. We've already taken out the buyer's acceptance level for the buyers to come on here, but again, they've crushed it every time. They've got to be able to hold that level to clear up any kind of order flow, the resistance, and then boom, we launch. I changed my screen name so I don't trip you up. Nice, Kraken. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. How do we watch your Bookmap stream? I'll post a link for Bookmap or you could watch it on YouTube. It'll be either one of those. If you haven't been on Bookmap's Discord, they have required a verification, but it only takes like 5 seconds. I'll post the verification link too. It's in their Bookmap. It's because they've been getting a lot of spammers, so it just verifies that you are legit. Here, I'll go ahead and give you the link to the verification, although I don't see it anymore. Where is it? Where's the verification link? Did they take it down? It appears they've taken it down. I don't see it. Huh, looks like they're taking it down. I don't know why. Do you enjoy pineapple on pizza? A little bit of red, a little bit of red, a little bit of red. I had a conversation with a member yesterday. And it was the same, it was the same stuff I get all the time. Hey, OM, I'm struggling. I managed to short the bottom and buy the tops. They seem to pivot every single move. The second I take an entry, it's immediately red and stays red, that type of thing. My first question to them, my first response to them, what time frame are you looking at? What are you trying to trade? If you are primarily scalping short term, I would probably say 90% of the time you're going to immediately see red when you take an entry. The market on the short time frame is inherently unpredictable. The shorter the time frame you trade on, the more gambling you get into, because the market is very, very, very unpredictable on the 5-minute scale. If your thesis is to get in and out of a trade in 5 seconds and pat yourself on the back for a 10-point move, then you're not going to last very long in this market. And that's what I'm trying to tell this person and pretty much everyone else. So if you are going to trade, try to at least gun for a 30-minute to an hour hold. And then if you do happen to stop out in 5-10 seconds, then so be it. But you've got to be able to expand your horizons to at least 30 minutes to an hour at the bare freaking minimum. Because the market is very, very back and forth on the short time frame. The shorter the time frame you go, the harder it is, the more unpredictable it is. You have to realize that when you are trading the short time frame, they are literally setting the hook for you to be the fish. They're laying that big old juicy worm out on the hook. So they plummet it, get you to start thinking shorts. The second you enter short, they bottom wing. And they manage to do it across millions of traders at the same exact time, thinking you are the only one. When in reality, they're doing it to both sides of the tape at all times. It's just you're selfish. You're focused on only your trades. You think the market is only pivoting you, not everyone, but they're pivoting everybody. Because everyone is reactive trading. My mind says no. Isn't that a 90s R&B song? Bump and grind, I think. Yeah, having wide stops is definitely part of the equation there, but at the same time, like if you don't know what you're doing, having wide stops is going to make you give back more money. The whole point there is that you have to start being more proactive, not reactive. The more reactive you are, chasing candles, you're going to get stopped out a lot. You're going to short the bottoms and buy the tops. Hawaiian pizza so fire. I always hated I always hated pineapple on pizza, and I still hate pineapple on pizza with the bland pieces of ham. I've come to like pineapple on pizza. However, it's got to be partnered with a salty, spicy meat, like a spicy sausage. Fantastic. There's a pizza here that they've got. They put spicy Italian sausage, and they put on very small chopped up pineapples on top. It's fantastic. Goes together like lamb and tuna fish. Chorizo, that would be fantastic. That would be fantastic. Jalapenos, yeah, muy buen, yeah, yeah. I tried anchovies. I love anchovies, but the anchovies you get in the store, like at the pizza places, suck. It's terrible. You have to go buy your own high-end anchovies, and they're still good. However, anchovies makes my tongue swell, but they're delicious. It feels so wrong, but it tastes so good. Yeah, I had kimchi rice with chicken the other day. Thought about you. Ooh, yeah, that sounds delicious. And anchovy aficionado, a little bit, a little bit. Pineapple from a can or fresh? I've never tried fresh pineapple on pizza, I'll have to admit. Although I do enjoy it. Fresh pineapple is way better than canned. I think I might be allergic to anchovies to some degree, yeah, but it's delicious. Get you some homemade break bread, homegrown tomatoes. You put tomato with some anchovies on a piece of bread. It's fantastic. Maybe a little basil. Those in the medical community call that an allergy. Pineapple on pizza, you should be hung. Some say I am hung, Dan. Mushrooms are delicious, but the pizza places use a slimy, rubbery one. Yeah, they're terrible. They're terrible. All the pizza place stuff like mushrooms and pineapple, terrible. Terrible. One sec, I have to mute. I'll be right back. All right, all right, all right. We're back. Let's see what we got. Any idea how to improve the speed of my trading platform? I use Thinkorswim. It's super laggy. Do you increase the RAM on my PC? Now you're speaking languages I'm not really good with. I've got a pretty beefy computer, at least beefy as of 3 years ago. But I use IBKR. IBKR is pretty fantastic. I rarely have issues with IBKR. Someone said I needed a water-cooled computer because it was getting too hot, so I just sprayed some water inside it every couple of days and keep it nice and cool. All right, y'all. I am going to banana curry pizza. Interesting. Got to wash your computer. Yeah. I am going to switch over to Bookmap Stream. So if you're on YouTube, you'll see a new link, a new video pop up here in about 3 minutes. Same thing, and I'll post them both. You'll have YouTube option, you'll have a Discord option in the Discord, so I'll post them both as well. So just give me a second. I'll get them all going, and we'll go from there. So a butter chicken pizza, I need pictures. I want to see that. Find me a Google picture. I want to see it. All right, love y'all. See you in a minute. I'm out.